The widow's oil. God's provision. The story of the widow's oil, found in 2 Kings chapter 4 verses 1 to 7, is a beautiful account of God's miraculous provision through the prophet Elisha. Here's a summary of the story and the key lessons it imparts. The story. A widow of one of the prophets came to Elisha, desperate for help. She explained that her husband had died and left debts behind. Now, the creditors were threatening to take her 2 sons as slaves to repay the debt. Elisha, moved by her plight, asked her what she had in her house. She replied that she had nothing but a small jar of olive oil. The story. Elisha then instructed her to go to her neighbors and borrow as many empty jars as she could. After doing so, he told her to go inside with her sons, shut the door, and start pouring oil into the empty jars. She obeyed, and miraculously, the oil flowed until every jar was full. When she had no more jars, the oil stopped flowing. Elisha then told her to sell the oil to pay off her debt and live on what was left. Through this miracle, God provided enough not only to pay her debts but also to sustain her and her family. Key lessons. 1. God meets us where we are. The widow had very little, just a small amount of oil, but God used what she had to perform a miracle. This teaches us that God can use whatever we have, no matter how small, to meet our needs. Key lessons. 2. Obedience and faith open doors. The widow obeyed Elisha's instructions without question, even though they may have seemed unusual. Her faith and obedience allowed her to experience God's provision in a powerful way. Key lessons. 3. God's provision is abundant. God didn't just give her enough oil to pay her debt, He provided more than she needed, enough to sustain her family. This reflects God's abundant nature and His desire to meet not only our immediate needs but also our ongoing needs. Key lessons. 4. Act in faith, even when it seems insufficient. Gathering empty jars and pouring out a small amount of oil required a step of faith. We learn that when we take steps of faith, even small ones, God can multiply our efforts in ways we might never have imagined. Key lessons. 5. Community and asking for help. The widow was asked to borrow jars from her neighbors, involving the community. It reminds us that sometimes God's provision involves reaching out to others and humbling ourselves to ask for assistance. Reflection. The story of the widow's oil is a reminder that God sees our needs, and His resources are limitless. When we place our trust in Him and follow His guidance, He can provide in ways beyond our understanding. It encourages us to have faith, to be obedient, and to recognize that God cares deeply about every aspect of our lives. In times of need, we can trust that God is not only aware of our circumstances but also ready to provide for us in ways that demonstrate His love and power. Subscribe, share, like, and hit that notification bell. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and share it with your friends and associates. Don't forget to subscribe, like, hit that notification bell for more information on Jesus Christ, God, Lord, Bible lessons and other religious content every day, week, month, and year. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on the current information. Thank you for watching.